Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members of the subcommittee for elevating the issue of PFAS water contamination to the highest level possible. My name is Emily Donovan, and I wear multiple hats. I'm a youth director at a church, Presbyterian Church on Wrightsville Beach. I'm a wife and a mother raising 10-year-old boy-girl twins, and I'm also co-founder of Clean Cape Fear. We are a water advocacy group that formed after learning DuPont Chemours was dumping large quantities of highly toxic PFAS into our primary source of drinking water, the Cape Fear River. Today, I'd like to speak to you as a mother who has spent the last 2 years getting a crash course in biochemistry. Imagine waking up to headlines that the same company who spent a historic $670 million to settle over 3,500 lawsuits in another state for poisoning their drinking water was doing the exact same thing to yours. That's exactly what DuPont spinoff Chemours did with GenX, their C8 replacement for making Teflon, and GenX was only 12% of the total PFAS found in our finished tap water. I'm largely here today because a handful of scientists from North Carolina stumbled upon something in the Cape Fear River at alarmingly high quantities and decided to investigate it. Due to their tireless research, we now know at least 25 different PFAS have been discovered in our finished tap water and in private wells around DuPont Chemours facility in Fayetteville. We learned early on through court documents that DuPont Chemours has mastered the art of deception. I believe this chronic polluter has no problem exposing millions of citizens to these toxic chemicals. It's been 2 years since we learned about GenX, and our worst fears have been confirmed. We've detected over 50 different PFAS in our air, soil, and water, all coming from Chemours. The FDA has found GenX and a slew of other PFAS in the produce at a farmer's market near Fayetteville. Wilmington residents have 3 times more C8 PFOA in their blood than the national average and 2 times more PFOS, and these two chemicals were phased out a decade ago. Residents also have a special chemical cocktail found in the blood not seen anywhere else in our state. Some of these PFAS were in 99% of the blood samples taken. 99%. Ask any scientist and they will tell you rarely does a study find 99% of a toxin in every person studied. We still know nothing about the majority of these chemicals in our finished tap water and local produce around Fayetteville and in Wilmington residents' blood. Not a single health official, scientist, or policymaker can tell me if the 16 mystery PFAS I found in the tap water at my son and daughter's public school are safe to drink. There are no recommended dose levels. There are no toxic mixture studies to guide me on how these chemicals interact with each other or could potentially harm my children as they grow up. And it sickens me to think that I may have hurt my children by simply raising them to drink the tap water. I will forever wonder if that choice will one day cause them major medical harm. I now send my children to school with water bottles filled with reverse osmosis water because it seems to be the only reliable filtering method to remove these toxins, and RO filters are incredibly expensive. I pray daily it is enough to keep them hydrated the whole day. I worry constantly about the children drinking the school tap water because their parents are either unaware or can't afford to access properly filtered water. And it's not just parents who are worried about their children. We as adults are also worried about our own health. These toxic chemicals do not act equally in our bodies. Some people may never develop serious health problems, while others aren't so lucky. Our state's leading PFAS toxicological researcher publicly stated the true impact of GenX may take years to become known because cancer takes time to reveal itself in humans. I am here to testify today that Wilmington, Fayetteville area residents are already showing signs of obscure and rare cancers, immune disorders, and diseases in populations far too young to pass off as normal. How many of your friends are battling cancer? I am 42, and my friend Sarah is battling stage 3 colon cancer. My friend Tom, who's here today, is terminal brain and bone cancer. And my friend Kara has stage 3 breast cancer. Her gallbladder stopped working and recently developed hypothyroidism. And her mom has blood cancer. And her dad over here has leukemia and bladder cancer. And my own husband had a benign brain tumor and almost lost his eyesight, and I am frightened. We already know testicular cancer is on the rise in our region. We have a large thyroid cancer cluster, nearly double the state and national average in Brunswick, Pender, and New Hanover counties. Cancer is a reportable illness. We have 24 years of data available at the federal and state level. We deserve to know if cancer clusters are associated with high levels of PFAS exposure in communities across the country. The ATSDR has excluded looking for cancer from their national PFAS exposure study. Why? Every utility should be required to test and monitor for PFAS in their drinking water regularly. PFAS as a class should be added to the toxic release inventory so states like North Carolina can monitor their use. The public needs to know which consumer products contain PFAS in order to make informed choices on how how to reduce continued toxic exposures. And ultimately, we need to make it illegal for companies to discharge PFAS as a class into our air, soil, and water source. We shouldn't have to be forced to sue Chemours in order to get them to pay for the damages they've done. We need PFAS to be listed as hazardous substances to unlock the EPA's authority under Superfund law and to seek cleanup costs for our contaminated municipal and private wells. And we need you to act swiftly. I have a community letter signed by 1,000 of my neighbors begging you for action. Please, we need you to do whatever it takes to protect the public. I am begging you to engage your humanity and find the moral courage to protect the most valuable economic resource, human life, because it's already too late for some of us. Thank you so much for your time. It was an honor to testify before your committee.